to The Ghouls Next Door, a
Yeah.
media literacy show from Horror Lens where we explore the real life, historical, and psychological, and romantical influences behind our cinematic fears. And closing out our Monstrous Love series, we are covering the first season of the TV series Interview with the Vampire.
Yeah. And what like an emotional monster love time.
Yeah.
This time, the monster isn't your heart. You know, it isn't inside. There's two real hot monsters that are real life time happening. It's not in your heart. It's for real. They exist.
That's true.
That's the difference. So
there are two real monsters, and then there's one real emotional monster in it. Yeah, we're talking about Interview with the Vampire.
Yeah. But my theme for my section is I'm just going to be talking how abusive this relationship was. It's a big bummer because you just want Louis to be happy because you love him so much. But as we were talking about, Lestat is a menace. It's a problem. He's an old time. A very engaging to watch menace, but like a menace all the same. And their relationship in Interview with the Vampire is a harrowing exploration of abuse and power dynamics. From the moment Lestat enters Louis' life, he exploits him. His vulnerabilities, his insecurities, offering him like an allure of immortality and power while like not allowing him ever really to have that because he imposes his own expectations and desires. And Lestat in many ways represents the idea that if you give someone power, you'll quickly see who they truly are, because power is a corrupting force that Lestat wields actively without regret.
Yeah, he loves it. He's thriving.
Yeah, and true to his identity as a white man in the 1910s America, he denies any and all accountability. I mean, still today. And feels he's above it. Like, he's just like, what do you mean? Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm actually going to go see my secret wife. Bye. You know, I want you to find out. How rude, you know? So he just runs from accountability and just feels he's so far above accountability. Like, he's just like, y'all are silly for even thinking that I should be held accountable. And this power makes him unable to truly love Louis because he does not know how to love without control, manipulation, and violence. And Lestat's manipulation is multifaceted. He preys on Louis' profound sense of isolation and the societal pressures that force him to suppress his true self. And it's like, Gabe, you like unpacked a lot of it, but like, it's so multifaceted how isolated Louis is, because he's a black man, he's a gay man, he's also like not in his family's eyes adhering to like traditional masculinity standards and like gender roles. And in 1910 New Orleans especially, it is not safe to be any of those things. He is already marginalized and vulnerable, and he's therefore a target to Lestat's control. And it's like in his whiteness that he just doesn't even understand.
He doesn't get it.
Yeah, and it's like he's attracted to like his rage and like repressed anger, and he's like, yeah, I'm also that. But he does not get the why and like how more deep it is, and just like how he cannot understand that. So Louis tragically cannot be himself at home with his family, and like his mom doesn't treat him right. His sister like allows for that. His brother doesn't accept him.
The religious aspect of it, like,
yeah, and he cannot be himself at all. And like we've talked extensively on the Ghouls on how damaging that is to someone's like self-esteem, their mental health, their sense of self, their ability to stand up to people who are abusive because they don't find value in themselves because the world is telling them that they don't have any. And he cannot be himself in the world either. So it's especially devastating that he can't be himself in his love too. He's gets to live forever, and he can't even be himself in that. So Lestat's lack of empathy towards the racial discrimination Louis faces further exacerbates the power imbalance as he fails to understand or acknowledge the unique struggles that Louis endures. Like, he really just, like, brushes them off.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I just feel like you can't argue that Lestat loves not you, but, like, just in general, like, there's just no way, unless he's, like, gonna work on himself and have empathy and, like, try. He'll never fully understand, but, like, he didn't even try.
He just threw a little fit every time. He'd just be like, "What? Why can't you just why can't you just be like
my
a
toys
white man
will
and get
do
over
what
it?"
I want. Yeah, he's such a toddler.
Just kill the, like, oh, vampires are always so dramatic.
Do you just, value life? Ew.
Yeah, like, just kill the
which
musician.
Is very white Western culture. So
yeah.
It's very much that. So Lestat's control over Louis is not just physical, but deeply psychological. He expects Louis to abandon his humanity and embrace a monstrous existence, channeling his repressed rage into violent actions. However, when Louis clings to his humanity, Lestat's disappointment manifests in various forms of abuse, and his actions reveal a profound desire to control rather than genuine love or companionship. He manipulates Louis' emotions, creating a constant state of performance where Louis must navigate the demands of his vampire existence while grappling with his human emotions. And this expectation creates another layer of performance for Louis, who must constantly conform to Lestat's desires, and further erodes his, like, sense of self and autonomy. And, like, you can really understand, like, when he's, like, the first time he was interviewed, like, they talk about how his perspective on Lestat changed over the years.
Like, wavered between, like, fascination and, like, reasoning to hate, and, like, it really, like, and that's like, the day-to-day.
Understand him. And, like, you really see just, like, how time can heal, and separation from the horrible things that you've experienced can help heal you. And then also, when it's still pretty fresh, it can still make you very, very angry, and reasonably so. But essentially, to quote Bell Hooks from their book All About Love, when we understand love as the will to nurture our own or another spiritual growth, it becomes clear that we cannot claim to love if we are hurtful and abusive. Love and abuse cannot coexist. Abuse and neglect are, by definition, the opposites of nurturing and care. So, therefore, with the understanding of what love should be, it is obvious that while Louis does love Lestat can never. He doesn't have the capability of that emotion. And the abusive nature of Lestat's relationship with Louis is further highlighted through the character of Claudia. Claudia, trapped forever, as Gabe was saying, in a child's body, with the mind and experiences of an adult, but with forever puberty and hormones of a teenager. And her frustration and resentment towards Lestat underscores the broader theme of control and the illusion of choice in the narrative. So Lestat's refusal to compromise or empathize with both Louis and Claudia underscores the toxic nature of just, like, his relationships in general. Because, like, if he was, like, better to Claudia, like, maybe you could argue he has the capacity for love. But, like, there's literally not anyone he's nice to or treats like they matter. Like, he manipulates everyone like they're toys.
Not even his side piece. Yeah, he's mean to her too.
Yeah, and he just wants, at the end of the day, like, all the attention on him. He wants Louis all to himself, and, like, a tantruming toddler competes with Claudia for this attention. Hundreds of years of life, but without the self-reflection and wisdom to mature. Claudia at least has the fact that she's a perpetual teenager hormone time to validate her behavior in conflict, and she grows in her character. You know what I mean? Like, she does her murder spree.
She gets out of her system.
And then she comes back and is like, I understand why Louis made me, and, like, sees what happens with his sister, and, like, understands Louis' love for her in a deeper, more profound way, and, like, grows and learns. And Lestat never does that. So, like, he doesn't even have the excuse of, like, he's hormonal or, like, a kid.
Yeah, he's a grown man.
He's a grown ass dude.
The whole time.
Forever. So, through Lestat's actions, It offers a chilling commentary on the destructive impact of abuse and the complexities of power dynamics in these relationships. And then I'm also going to talk just like about the humanity of Louis, because just if you're watching this show and you don't love Louis, I don't understand.
Yeah, something's wrong with you.
Yeah. Like, if you're like Lestat and you're just incapable, Louis is the best thing that's ever happened.
He's so
like,
sweet.
He is so kind. And just like, even in his like troubled part, like where he's like battling within himself, is like that proves over and over again, like the inherent compass that he has, that like he's trying so hard to be good, and that it's a choice, and that Louis exists as proof that Lestat doesn't have to be a POS, you know?
Yeah.
he doesn't need to. He could have made better choices, and he actively didn't. So through Louis, we also get to see how truly monstrous Lestat is. Like any living being, we face choices, and Louis' choices and existence proves that even in the monstrous reality of being a vampire, that even in the monstrous reality of being a vampire, in the monstrous world of American society, you do not have to be a monster too. And his clinging to humanity and grappling with the moral challenges of being a vampire show that there was another path to be taken by vampire existence. A path Lestat could have taken instead if he cared for other living beings at all. And in a world filled with wanton violence and cruelty, it is brave to be kind. And Louis is that. Lestat, in his power as a white man, has every opportunity, privilege, and like power to enact change and do good.
Batman cough.
Without like without the consequences that Louis did. You know, like Louis did vigilante justice and then had a like domino effect. The impact is his entire community. That wouldn't have happened if Lestat did the same thing.
Yeah. So he's got to use his privilege for good.
Yeah, and he wasn't. He had no interest in it at all. And his background, and also the way culturally Western, like white culture, aside from paganism and like other nature-centered beliefs and colonization, devalue life, like inherently. Like capitalism itself devalues anything that is not productive or like profitable. It devalues life. So that really, you could just see that influence in Lestat across the board. He could have enacted way less widespread harm. Yeah.
He could have loved.
And he could have loved. And how beautiful that would have been. You know, maybe he wouldn't have had to be lonely his whole life.
Yeah.
If he just gave like a little, you know? So the pursuit of individual profit above all else is exactly how Lestat lives. He does nothing for anyone else. It only seeks personal profits. He is like, what is the word? It's like hedonistic, but he's also just like, the way he murders people even, like, it's all very theatrical.
Narcissistic.
Yeah. And he does not care if the whole city burns or if people die. If anything, he would be dancing in the flames, maniacally laughing and murdering people as he goes, watching like no accountability and blame fall on him because everything's on fire.
Yeah, he would also look really pretty doing it.
Yeah. Like you'd be like watching and be like, wow, this is a nightmare, but also like, oh, look at this guy. It's kind of beautiful. It's really hot. It's beautiful mouse over also, there. I hate him, but also like, I get it.
What's he doing?
The worst, but also
I can watch this for hours, you know?
Yeah, he's a menace. So dangerous. You're like, don't die, but also I really get why you have to.
He was like, please die.
Please die, don't die. Don't do it. Someone else do it.
Claudia, help.
That hurts. Okay. But for 100 years, he has chosen to disregard humanity and its value and life and feed on any and everyone without consequence. He witnessed violence and horror and rode that wave instead of fighting against it. He's like, privilege? Bet. Come on.
I love that.
And yeah, I love that for me. This isn't to invalidate the trauma Lestat experienced when he was captured and transformed. Like, you do hear him talk about like, that sucked.
Yeah,
that sucked. I'm not going to be like, that didn't matter, your problems don't exist. They definitely do. he witnessed horrors, and comparatively, I guess, sure, maybe he's doing a slightly better job than
I don't even know if that's true. I don't
vampires.
know.
Yeah, well, I didn't see season 2, so I don't know. But yeah, like he witnessed bad things, absolutely, but he also has not healed from that. So it's more a commentary on like what led that transformation of him. Like, we are not able to change what we've experienced and how trauma has impacted us. Absolutely. It's not Lestat's fault. He was kidnapped and turned into a vampire and treated awfully and abused. But we are responsible for healing from that. And he's had way more time than everybody else we see on screen.
It's also like so heartbreaking as Louis. Like, and that's something I think people hold on to in an abusive relationship, is that you think maybe you're the thing, that maybe he cares about you so much that he'll finally do the work, when that's not, it has nothing to do with you, but you still hope for that.
Yeah. And just, he does the performance of trying to get better and then like not actually. Yeah. So Lestat has no interest in healing, and that's what makes him much more monstrous than just being a vampire. He's had over 100 years of time to process and heal and learn, and he has no interest in any of that. And instead, he wants to live deliciously or whatever, and without any accountability for that choice.
He does.
He does. He just wants
he
to,
said yes to that goat.
Yeah, he just wants to like slow drain people and dance naked in the woods.
He would.
As everything's on fire, murdering.
I'd watch it.
Gabe.
I'm dying. You said I get it.
Unlike Lestat, who revels in the power and freedom that vampirism affords, Louis is tormented by the loss of his human soul and the need to kill to survive. His refusal to fully embrace his vampiric nature is a testament to his deep-seated desire to hold on to the values and emotions that defined him as a human. And it also highlights the way he values humanity as a whole, how he values other living beings. This internal conflict is evident in the reluctance to kill humans for like sustenance, often resorting to feeding on animals instead. And I will be like, when he ate that cat, I was bummed. I was like, that's still a living thing, but I get it. Like, you don't want to just go murder people. I get it.
Yeah.
But like, Louis clings to humanity, and it's not just like a rejection of his vampiric instincts, but also a profound statement about the need to maintain a moral compass in a world that demands that he abandon it. And Louis' struggle is further complicated by this abuse and manipulation by Lestat and his expectations and demands to create a constant tension for him. Like, he's like, ugh, we gotta go not murder again. And then like even Claudia at the end, they're like, all right, you have to murder and you can't make us feel bad about it. You're like a real bummer on our murder time.
Stop being such a downer.
Yeah, we're just like ending people's lives forever and like ruining their families, and their kids are really gonna miss them, but whatever. Like, whatever. Stop complaining. It's so rude. But like he really, yeah, and like you really see how he's finally, towards the end, getting to like find himself in what he believes he should be and like actually get to do that. He has so much autonomy by the end, like with the person you're being interviewed, that like you really see all the ways that like even though he has experienced a lot of trauma and a lot of pain, that he has finally started to heal and also like find himself and accept himself and love himself. And I mean, I don't know with this new guy, you know, that he's in love with, or if he's abusive or nice, but it seems like they have a better dynamic.
Yeah, the Armand.
At least. Yeah, like there's at least more care there, and like Louis can at least be himself. And if like someone talks crap about him, he's not like, yeah, he's a bummer about that, or ugh, Louis. Like he's like, don't you talk bad about my boyfriend, which is like how he should react. So the connections that Louis has to his community, Claudia, and then also like even though his family never treats him right, like his love for his sister and like his family,
his brother,
these connections, his brother, oh my god, it's just a whole tragic story. So these connections serve as a lifeline for Louis, anchoring him to his human past and providing a sense of purpose in an otherwise like very bleak existence. He never lets himself become a monster. And he totally could have in a lot of ways, but he also just like, it shows the difference, as you said, like the like depth to the show in making him a black man compared to Lestat and his whiteness. Like, he really just doesn't get the chance, and it's good that he doesn't get to go be monster time and like murder wantonly, but like he wouldn't have had that opportunity in the first place, and it's like such a great commentary on that. So the narrative of Interview with the Vampire ultimately portrays Louis clinging to humanity as both a source of suffering, but like as a beacon of hope, and his refusal to succumb to the monstrous aspects of his nature set him apart from the other vampires and highlight the enduring power of human values and emotions. Louis' journey is a poignant exploration of the complexities of identity and the struggle to maintain one's humanity in the face of overwhelming darkness. Like, his story serves as a reminder that even in the most dire circumstances, that the essence of what makes us human is our capacity for empathy, love, and more reflection, and that can endure through messed up things. So like the world's on fire right now. We don't have to dance in it and murder and laugh maniacally like Lestat.
No.
We can instead try to like save people and love each other and try to put the fires out and like be kind, etc. So it's just like a commentary on the like resilience of the human spirit and the enduring quest for self-determination and moral integrity and like autonomy in a world that, as you said, Gabe, tries to actively strip you of it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kat. Yeah. That's great. Yeah, you know what? I also think, I could be misremembering, but I think there's like a cover when he introduces Armand to the journalist. I think he says like, "This is the love of my life," and that I actually never loved before. And like he comes to that realization that was not love. Yeah.
No, he does. That's how he introduces him. So you are correct.
Yeah. So like
Memory
I think that
affirmed.
Is. Thank you for validating. But I think that was really intentional too. In just being like establishing that and confirming that it was an abusive relationship, and that even Louis sees, he can empathize with that previous version of himself and totally like, understand what he was going through, and also acknowledge that wasn't love. Yeah.
And he even seems to like empathize with Lestat, but not accept, like I understand, but I don't accept that he was a little monster man. I get why, but still.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's something like there's a lot to love about Louis. And I think his capacity to love is also something that's really profound. Like his love for Lestat, like his care for this man, despite all of the things, is also is something to be lauded. Like I think that's something that should be like a positive for him. Not something like he can I understand like beating yourself up about it too, but the fact that he's tried so long and believed for so long in the growth of Lestat, and that one day he'll come around, like I think that's also something that's powerful and beautiful that sometimes gets overlooked because we see it as weakness, like society, we'll see like people who stay in those relationships as weakness, when really it's just like that just speaks to how profound your capacity for love is. And don't stay. I do think you could still leave those harmful relationships and protect yourself, but don't beat yourself up so much about having stayed and having tried, because that's really that's a beautifully human thing to do.
No, absolutely. Don't regret the want for love, or any of your choices. Just do different next time. Know you're enough.
Yeah, you deserve better.
Don't make a vampire baby,
Don't make a vampire baby. And also it was also kind of like that cliche of maybe a baby will fix us,
Literally.
It won't.
It won't.
It turns out that's not how that works.
Turns out this just in that never works.
And now you're ruining this for kid. But she came around and she was also so amazingly full of care and love. And I think that's really important, is like having those two characters be Black people during that time period and be the ones that are really loving and intelligent and kind and soft, like, is also very important. And so I think it's brilliant. Part of me wants to like go back now and maybe read the books, though I'm going to be a little sad because it's different and be like, I don't really care in the same way.
Yeah. I feel like it's just hard to empathize in the same way because of what the characters are in the original.
Yeah. I kind of just want to get through so I can get to Queen of the Dams, you know?
It's fair. It's fair.
But that being said, like, if people have our girly pops out there who have some spicy book recommendations of toxic vampire relationships, I am now in the market to read them and maybe get them.
You sure it wasn't Astarion who taught you vampire love?
Astarion? No. I just never really, I never really saw him as a vampire. To be quite honest. Like, that was such a secondary trait to him. He was just, like, someone who's hurt. I did read, like, a really problematic spicy book about vampires, and it really was just smut the whole way through. There wasn't a lot of character development. 10%
plot.
Yeah, I was
90%.
You know? And, like, the men weren't really toxic. They were just vampires, you know?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Send me your problematic faves. Because I'm, like, starting to get it. If they're like this, then I get it.
You can just imagine that they're that.
Yeah, I'll just imagine.
And they don't even have to be. It's a book, so they don't have a picture really most of the time.
Yeah, I'll just switch it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that is episode 299. That closes out our Monstrous Love series for this time. We will be going on a short little break as we gear up for episode 300, which will be live in person at World Cafe Live on
April 10th.
April 10th. Thank you. April 10th. Here in Philadelphia.
Tickets are available if you go on our link tree. That's the top.
Yeah, link in bio. Definitely support us if you can. And then let us know what you think about any of the Interview with the Vampire things. Book, movie, show, Anne Rice as a person, other Anne Rice recommendations. Things like why people love her so much. I'd love to know. And don't get married.
Delete your kids.
Or to turn your kid into a vampire.
I'm a football guy.
You're a football guy?
You're like the Super Bowl, the guy that was sad.
Oh, Mahomes?
Yeah, that's me reacting to the vampires eating your kids.
Yeah, it sucks, dude. Don't let your vampire change your kid. That's awful.
Also, retroactively, go Birds. They won the Super Bowl.
Remember, go Birds. All right. Bye.
Bye.